Well, hey, BecomingMe.TV. I'm so excited to introduce you to my warrior friend, Rachel. Rachel, welcome.
You for having me.
So
Oh,
excited you're here. And I have to tell you guys, if you're not following Rachel on Instagram yet, you need to push pause on this interview, go follow her because every day she posts something. It is so encouraging, authentic, raw, real. You challenge me to become who God made Emily to be. And so I thank you for that so much. And after you follow, come back, watch the rest of her interview, and let's just kick it off with maybe one of the hardest questions. Who is Rachel?
well, first of all, I received that. Thank you. That means so much. We chatted a little bit before you press play, and like that is such a great compliment. So, well, let's see. So I have done a couple things, and we just discovered that we have some things in common. So I actually started my career working for Dr. John C. Maxwell. So you see a lot of his books back here. I have lots more. I worked for John for 14 years in various capacities, but what I did for most of my career was leadership development consulting. And so I got to go into these large companies like Coca Cola and Chick fil A and help their senior leadership teams, mid level, front lines, work on leadership development, team building. And that was everything from coaching to training to lunch and learns. It was really, really fun. But I was doing that and I met my husband. We got married. Pretty soon after we got married, we had our first baby. And it started getting a little hairy, you guys. For anyone who are working mamas out there, I'm a reader. I read every book. I read all the books. The books did not prepare me. I'm like, where's the book on how you're supposed to do this?
Oh, no.
Yeah, there is no book, right? I also struggled with a little bit of postpartum depression, which I wasn't prepared for. So had that going with this awesome job, but crazy schedule, like traveling a ton. My husband was traveling internationally. He's a partner at a big four consulting firm. And then I had a 7-month old and I found out I was pregnant again.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah, and you know that saying, like, we make plans and then God laughs, or he knows. He's the ultimate waymaker, and he knew it was exactly what we needed, but it kind of pushed me over the edge. And I was just like not ready. But ready or not, I was having a baby, and so I'm working, doing all this, and I knew I'm like something had to change because I wasn't feeling like I had the purpose that I wanted. I wasn't feeling connected to my family because I was always gone. And there was something that happened where we had our two little girls in daycare. My husband had to leave that day, so we dropped them off. He got on a plane, and I was supposed to come home. Well, I was in Detroit, and there was a snowstorm. I got stuck there. He was in the air, and they called us to get our kids, and there were no parents in Georgia, which is actually a little embarrassing to share, but it was just like a wake up call for me, like this, something's got to change. So I made a decision to find something new, which is hard because I was earning really good income. I did something I thought I would never do, and I started a network marketing company in health and fitness. And I was able to scale a 6-figure business in 2 years, which was awesome. So I was able to quit my job and create freedom for my family and be at home with my girls, which was so cool. And that allowed me to interface with a lot of women, like maybe who's watching this, and like women like you and I, who are passionate about living their purpose. And in the process, at the beginning of this year, I really rediscovered a passion for coaching and working one-on-one with women to help them create lives that they were really excited about, lives and businesses. I love coaching on business. And so I started that at the beginning of the year, and I've been doing that, and it's just been incredible. It's been so fun to have that business, that network marketing business, but really focus on finding women who were like me, who need that support and encouragement and direction. So yeah, so that's a little bit about who I am. And now I live here with my husband, Matt, in Atlanta, and we've got 2 littles, and they're 8 and 9 now.
Wow. What an incredible just journey and snapshot. I would love if you wouldn't mind diving even a little deeper into some of your story, and that you had this exact moment where you knew like something had to change. And that's scary. That place is scary where you have something that you know, and then you're going to step into the unknown. And I know so many people find themselves there right now, especially in 2020. Everything is changing, everything can feel uncertain, and a lot of people feel stuck. They know they don't like what it feels like right now, but sometimes it can feel hard to take that step. So, if you don't mind, what was that part of your story like? Like, how did you wrestle with the uncertain and then step into it, even if you had fear or whatever, and take that next step on your becoming journey?
That's such a good question. I love that. So it's funny. One of the things that John told me once that has stuck with me, and one time he said we were working on something and it wasn't going how I wanted it to go. We're covering like control freak here. And okay, I'm in good company. And he said, Rachel, God doesn't need a crowbar. And I'm like, that's so good. And I started thinking about that when I wanted to make this decision. Um, it was like I was afraid to make the change, but things just started aligning. There were just a number of things that lined up that I happened to find this person who I really connected with. I'd never thought I would do this kind of direct marketing thing, but we happened to connect. She happened to be really authentic and not yucky or pushy. And then there was a event that I went to and I connected with someone who was in the same realm. And it was like God kept showing up in people and situations and circumstances, basically showing me like this is the right path. So I think I leaned into, I knew it's like pay attention to the tension. You know when something's not right. And I knew it wasn't right. And so I started looking for ways to believe that it could be. And I took action despite feeling the fear. Sometimes I tell some of my clients, like, sometimes you gotta feel the fear and do it anyway, you know?
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's what I would say.
On the other side, are you glad that you felt the fear and did it anyway, that you leaned into it?
Totally, like, yeah, it's funny because even when we connected today, you're like, how are your calls today? And I just feel so lucky and blessed to get to do what I get to do, to really go deep with women and create an environment and a space for them to be fully known without judgment, to help them see like what they're thinking and what they're feeling, to validate it and to help them to see what it's creating, and to help to coach them on maybe what they can begin to believe that's really true that will serve them. Because so many of us loop on beliefs about who we are that are not consistent with our identity,
100%.
right?
So true. Like if you were, let's say somebody watching your story right now had a call with you, or you were meeting up at your favorite coffee shop in Atlanta, what would you say to encourage them on their own becoming journey?
That's a great question. So another kind of Johnism. Hate to keep bring it back to that, but he's a great teacher. Actually, this is John, but this is another gentleman I work with at John's company named Chris, and he has this saying: "You lead where you're strong, and you team or put a system in place where you're weak." And so, leading where you're strong, like when you find a passion or something that you're really great at, it feels natural. Right? Going back to that crowbar thing, like sometimes we try and make something work when it's like writing. If you're right-handed, it's like writing with your left hand. So I think a big part advice I would get is figure out what are your passions and what are you good at,
Mm.
and finding where those things intersect can be really powerful. Like that's what I'm trying to teach my girls. I really am intentional about helping them to become who God created them to be, not what I want them to be. But what do they like to do? What are they good at? That's what I'm trying to help them to see, which is hard sometimes as a parent because we want the best for our kids, but it has to be what God wants and what they want. So I would say discover your strengths and be really clear on what your passions are. And there's so many great tools to discover your strengths. There's the Strength Finders, which is awesome. That one is not a free assessment, but you can go online and take that assessment. The other one that I love that's free is called the Temperament Assessment, and sometimes it's called Personality Plus. It's like colors, associated with colors. It can also be associated with some of these Greek names, but it's great because it helps you to see, like, okay, I'm, or the disc, I'm, a D, or I'm an I, and here's what, usually here's where my strengths are, and here's where the backside of my strengths, here's where my weaknesses are.
Your growth areas. For
Right.
sure.
That's the
Yes.
positive spin.
That's incredible. What great resources and tools, y'all. We will link these in the notes as well, so you can easily go take these tests. But Rachel, if somebody was watching and they were like, "Man, like I would love to connect with Rachel, or not only follow you, but maybe they would love to even pursue coaching with you," how can people connect with you online?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So for sure, Instagram. So I'm on Facebook too, but I love Instagram. And it's so funny because I wasn't an Instagram girl when it first came out, but I have really grown to love it. I love the aesthetic of it. I love watching the stories. I love watching behind the scenes. It's almost like our own little reality TV, right? So it's so fun just to get a little peek into like as authentic as it can be. Maybe it's not so much for everyone, right? It just depends. But I like to be pretty authentic on my stories. So I think Instagram is probably the best way. And yeah, DM me, and I'd love to connect. One of the things I do with potential clients is I do offer an opportunity for us to get on a call and I coach you live. That way we can kind of even see if we gel. So
That's awesome. Well, guys, we will definitely have all the links for you to connect with Rachel. Rachel, you are amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your journey, who you are, who you're becoming, and then equipping all of us to become who God made us to be as well. You encourage me so much. Thank you.
thank you. This was so fun. I appreciate you.